Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're unpacking what honestly might be the most massive structural shift in personal computing we've seen in a decade. I mean, this is a pivot that's going to fundamentally alter how you actually interact with your laptop. We're diving deep into Google's monumental move away from those budget-friendly web clients we all know, straight into the heart of an AI-native premium intelligence system. And the device leading this absolute charge? The Googlebook. By baking the Gemini AI model directly into the kernel level, Google isn't just, pushing out an OS update, they are completely reimagining how a computer understands your entire workflow.
Look, to really get why this shift is so wild, we've got to look back for a second. For the last 15 years, the word Chromebook basically meant cheap plastic hardware, right? But hey, that strategy worked incredibly well. Chromebooks actually managed to secure a massive 60% of the global K-12 education market. They were super easy to deploy, simple to manage, and essentially functioned as a web browser with a keyboard attached. But let's be real, they were never really taken seriously by high-end consumers or enterprise power users.
Well, scratch that budget reputation entirely, because the Googlebook completely shatters that mold. This is definitely not a classroom terminal. It is launching as a premium hardware powerhouse with an estimated entry price well over $1,000. So Google is signaling a total departure from cost-sensitive manufacturing here. They are stepping right into the ring with the highest-end machines on the market, aiming squarely at premium productivity users who demand serious, heavy-duty processing power.
Okay, let's break down this stark contrast, because it's a big one. We are fundamentally shifting from low-cost, cloud-dependent web browsers to heavily machined local AI systems. Think about it. Legacy ChromeOS relied entirely on the cloud. If you didn't have Wi-Fi, you basically had a paperweight. The new Googlebook paradigm flips that entirely on its head. It is local AI first, packing 40 trillion operations per second, or TOPS, of neural processing capability right there on the device. It's a massive leap designed specifically for those premium consumer and enterprise needs.
Let's get into Section 1. Enter Aluminium OS and its Android 17 foundation. To actually pull off this local AI leap, Google literally killed off ChromeOS development. Yep, it's gone. In its place is a radical new core architecture codenamed Aluminium OS, which is the foundational bedrock of the Googlebook. This is built directly on the Android 17 codebase. Now, in the past, if you wanted to run an Android app on a Chromebook, you had to force it through this really resource-heavy Linux translation layer. It was sluggish, it was compromised, it just wasn't great. But not anymore. Aluminium OS eliminates those translation layers completely, so developers can now deploy native mobile applications seamlessly across desktops with full hardware acceleration. You're getting the exact same native performance on your laptop as you would on a flagship smartphone, which is a real game changer.
We actually have this leaked 16-minute emulator footage that shows exactly how this plays out on a totally redesigned desktop shell. The user interface now features a tall taskbar and side-sliding quick settings specifically designed to maximize your horizontal screen space. For productivity, you've got native virtual workspaces built right into the Recents panel, but here is the crazy part. Look at the continuity features. Google actually built in a link to iOS suite. No way, right? They are actively courting iPhone users with this unexpected cross-platform connectivity right alongside Cast My Apps for totally seamless Android mirroring.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Magic Pointer Paradigm.
So a new operating system is really just the canvas. The actual intelligence was developed hand-in-hand with Google DeepMind. Their goal? Replacing the traditional static computer cursor entirely with an active, context-aware AI agent. And it all starts with what they're calling the wiggle-to-wake gesture. Instead of opening up a separate chatbot window or a clunky sidebar, you literally just wiggle your cursor over an element on your screen. The second you do that, Gemini instantly analyzes the active on-screen pixels to extract semantic context and suggest commands. Because this is running at the OS level, the AI literally sees what you are pointing at, whether it's text, an image, whatever, and anticipates what you want to do with it.
This contextual awareness creates a completely new, totally frictionless workflow across 3 distinct modes. First up is Ask. Just point at a dense document or a chunk of code and issue a natural voice prompt to summarize or debug it. Second is Compare. Hover over 2 different product listings, and the OS instantly compiles a comparison chart right there in your active window. And finally, Combine. Say you select an image of an empty office and a 3D rendering of a desk, Gemini will just generate an augmented preview of the room for you. It effectively kills the need to ever endlessly copy and paste data between open windows again. And Google surrounds this super smart cursor with some incredibly powerful generative tools to handle your daily friction points. Imagine a feature called Create My Widget. If you just tell your computer you have a business trip coming up, it quietly scans your Gmail and calendar in the background and builds a real-time, dynamic dashboard of your flights and hotels directly on your desktop. Then there's Rambler, which automatically filters out stutters and filler words from your voice dictation in real time. Plus, to let you know all this AI magic is actually happening, Google included a physical lid-mounted light strip called the Glow Bar that pulses in multicolor whenever Gemini is active.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Silicon Power War.
Now, processing all of this visual and generative data locally, that requires some absolute heavy lifting computationally. To make sure these heavy AI tasks can run offline without completely nuking your battery life, Google isn't building the hardware themselves. Instead, they're enforcing incredibly strict hardware baselines across OEM partners like Acer, Dell, and Lenovo. We are literally watching a fierce silicon battle unfold. The Google Chromebook platform is tapping into high-end processors like the Intel 300 Wildcat Lake and Snapdragon X series, delivering a massive 40 TOPS of local neural processing capacity. Put that up against the Windows Copilot Plus machines pushing 40 to 45 TOPS, and Apple's new $599 MacBook Neo delivering 35 TOPS with its A18 Pro chip. Make no mistake, the Google Chromebook is refusing to compromise on power.
And naturally, these high-end neural engines require some really robust foundational support. The strict Googlebook specifications mandate massive memory caps. We're talking up to an incredible 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. For a device descending from the Chromebook lineage, that is just absolutely unheard of. Base storage starts at a minimum of 512 gigabytes on a super-fast NVMe SSD. And despite packing all this crazy power, OS tuning paired with modern silicon means they are targeting up to 22 hours of battery life, all squeezed into a sleek, machined aluminum chassis weighing right around 3 pounds.
But here's the catch. Creating an artificial intelligence that constantly scans your active screen pixels and analyzes your input data naturally leads us to a massive critical question. Is this device actually just a surveillance tool? By placing Gemini right at the kernel level to enable all these proactive features, the system inherently has to watch what you are doing, right?
Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the tech that powers your day.